Hooked On Fishing was brought to you by Matamata Sports World. For all your friendly advice and service, see us first. Hi, Chris Bungard. Thinking of going fishing over the holidays? Well, here's a few tips that might help you. I'm not sure what sort of fishing you're planning on doing, but let's have a look at the trout fishing for a start. Of course, we're blessed in the Waikato and around Matamata here in the Rotorua region with a lot of trout fishing. And I hear a lot of young guys and well, older guys as well, like myself, heading out for a bit of trout fishing. And there's a few little tips that I'd like to give you that might help you increase your catch rate over the holidays. First of all, one of the most important things, when you walk in the little streams around the place here, always walk with the water coming towards you. So if you're walking along a stream and the water's running away from you, not a good idea. When walk with the water coming towards you, and that way you're walking up behind the trout. And trout are quite blind behind them, but they have incredible vision ahead of them. So if you're walking with the water going the same way as you are, the trout are facing you, they will see you and they will take off. So when you walk in some of these little streams in the evening after work or something like that, as I said, walk with the water coming towards you, cast over the trout. So if you see a nice area ahead of you, cast over that area and then wind the spinner or the fly back towards you so you're coming back over their nose. Just keep that in mind, and I'm sure that'll help you increase your catch rate if you're looking at heading out for a bit of a trout fish over the holidays. On the sea fishing scene, Coromandel and the West Coast. Well, let's have a look at Coromandel for a start. If you're looking at heading up there, and to help you plan with your fishing, look at the bite times. And I've been religiously over the years now watching it. It doesn't always work, but it does help. So if you're heading out over the holidays, look at your little bite time books and that sort of thing. There's calendars out. We've got them in the shop here at Sports World. Give me a call if you like, and I can have a look for you if you don't want to drive into town or anything. And I can help you plan your fishing as well. So give us a buzz on that one. But generally, have a look at your bite times. And also in the Coromandel region, the incoming tide seems to be fishing the best. There's a real pattern developing now. Yeah, the turn of the tide and the outgoing can produce as well, but generally the incoming tide produces the best. So if you're looking at your tide times, you've got a bit to do. You think, oh, will I go for an early morning fish or will I go for an afternoon fish? Have a look at the tide times, and that will help you decide. It'll also cut down the amount of fishing time you have to have on the water, because generally that turn of the tide and then the first few hours coming in makes a big difference. Particularly in the evening, if you can get a high tide just after the change of light, so high tide late in the evening, that's a really good one to look at as well. Over into the Mercury Bay region as well, during the daytime, at the moment this time of the year, get out with you on the sand, in the bit deeper water, and spend a bit of time with your depth sounder having a look around, because what the snapper are doing at the moment, they're out on the sand looking to spawn. Particularly, like normally by this time of the year, the snapper would have already spawned. But what's happening is the temperatures are quite low, and for this time of the year, they're lower than normal. So the snapper are still out on the sand during the daytime. Now, spend a bit of time with your sounder, look for that, target them with your soft baits or your bottom rigs. Then in the evening, get into the edge of the foul. Now, what the snapper like to do is come into the edge of the foul to rest up at night. So think about that. Same at Mere and Motiti, really over in the Bay of Plenty. If you're looking at heading out there, have a look at the tide times. The incoming tide seems to be working the best, particularly if you're stray lining around some of the shallow areas. Around Mere at the moment, areas like Crater Bay, 30 metre mark, it's on the eastern side of the island. As I said, if you want an idea of whereabouts these areas are, give us a buzz or call into the shop here and I can help you out with that one. But generally the snapper will be out in the deeper water during the daytime. In the evening, once again, get into that change of light area. If you like to do a bit of surf casting over the holidays, it's a lot of fun. You can go to the beaches at Papamoa, the Mount, or off the Leisure Island in the front of the Mount there. Think about the tides as well. Very, very important. For surf casting off the beach, not the rocks, off the beach, you're always best to fish at low tide. Now think about that. What happens is if you fish at high tide, when you cast out, you're casting out into an area of sand between the high tide and the low tide. And you're basically casting onto barren sand where people walk up and down, drive up and down, play with the kids, dig sand castles and all that sort of thing. If you're fishing at low tide, then you think about it, the shellfish, the pippies, the cockles and all that are just below the low water line. So when you're standing there fishing at low tide, you're casting out into where the shellfish are, and that will make a big difference to your catch rate. The fish will come in, they're feeding on those shellfish. Also, when you're walking along the beach, have a look at where the shells are on the beach. There's a lot of shells and empty shells and that sort of thing. That's because just out there somewhere, not too far out, is where there's a shellfish bed. Look out for seagulls, seabirds and all that thing on the beach as well, because they'll be feeding on any of those broken shells that come in. So stand where the shells are and cast out. You'll be casting out onto a shellfish bed, particularly at the areas like the mountain that you'll have trevally. They come in and feed on those shellfish. Nice size snapper and all that thing. So just give that a wee bit of thought as well. So next time you're heading out fishing, keep some of those tips in mind. It might help you increase your catch rate. This has been Chris Bungard helping you plan your holidays fishing. Hooked on Fishing was brought to you by Matamata Sports World. For all your friendly advice and service, see us first.